Jambo, Salam Alaikum, Namaste and Sasri Akal. Welcome again to Ammijaan's kitchen. Today we are making chili. A nice cool day, nothing like a nice warm pot of chili. And hopefully Emma will make some cheese scones to go with it. So here we are, quick intro to ingredients. Kidney beans, cremini mushrooms or baby portobello, whichever you want to call them. I love them. So much better than the white ones. This is tomato frozen from my garden last summer. Red and orange pepper, just for a bit of color. Onion, celery, chopped up garlic, habanero pepper, sugar, and apple cider vinegar. It could be any other vinegar that you like. And what I have done is I've already, just to get a jump start on the whole process, I've already browned my ground beef. Lean to extra lean. A little lean is nice to get a little bit of fat in it. And what I've already added to that is salt and the habanero pepper chopped up. So it already gets that nice heat right from the base. This was just to show you. I've already got mine in there. So let's get to the stove and start cooking. Okay, here we are. Let's get started. This is to show you so far what the beef looks like. Nice. It's already got the chili and the salt in it, and all nicely amalgamated. All the bits, try and break them up as best as you can. And the first thing we're going to add here, so you can start getting that flavor in, is the garlic. So let's throw that in, give it a quick stir. And the next thing that needs to cook, so we don't get that taste in it, uncooked taste, is onion. And you know how strong it is. I've actually closed the lid up. But there we are. So I'm going to throw all that in. Nice amount of onion so you get that lovely gravy. So we'll stop here. I'm going to just give this, missed a couple of cloves, hey. I'm going to give this a good mixture and then we'll come back and take the next step in. I would like these onions to cook into the meat a little bit and the garlic. And then when it's almost amalgamated, we'll add all the other stuff. And then very end, we're going to add the vinegar and the sugar. And it just makes all the flavors pop. So there, let's leave this for a bit and we'll come back. Okay, we've only been cooking it for a few minutes and the onions are starting to soften up. Obviously, I've increased the heat because when the beef was cooking earlier, I had dropped the heat right down to minimum. So about medium heat now. The onions are really nice and soft. So is the garlic. And we're going to start adding the pepper. I used the Ninja this time, so it's kind of nicely diced. You know, you can just chop them up with your hands, however you want it. But sometimes I find when it's tinier pieces, it just makes a nicer gravy-ish kind of a chili. And I'm going to throw in the, it'll come, celery. So there. Let's just mix it all up. I hope my pot's big enough to hold all this. But it'll cook down too, right? So here we are. And it's the colors that come through, which is lovely. Like you've got orange from the pepper, red, green from the celery, white from the onion, and I can smell it too. It's lovely, especially when the beef was cooking with that habanero pepper and the salt. The taste is just unbelievable. I always try a little bit right while it's cooking, and I find when you put the salt that early in the beef, it sort of holds on to the flavor rather than putting it after. So for me, salt and pepper is right in the beginning. You could even throw in the habanero then, but then it just makes the room very strong chili smelling, so I prefer not to. So there, that I'm not going to wait for it to cook. It's good enough to start throwing the other stuff. The only thing I'm going to leave a little bit to the end is the mushrooms and the kidney beans. And you can buy any kind of kidney beans. I've just got the Indian Suraj ones. Now this tomato, like I said, you can see it's quite watery because it was my garden tomato frozen. So there'll be a lot of liquid there. And what you can do, which I might do, depending at the end I'll decide, is if it's too runny, I'll add a couple of tablespoons of tomato paste. But you might buy tomatoes canned and crushed. then you may not have this problem. But if you're using fresh tomatoes, you might have this. Okay, and here we are again. Just nice stir. The frozen tomato chunk that I had has melted in nicely. So in go the kidney beans, and different people say different things. I like the juice, so I don't drain it off because I think that's the best part of it. It's been sitting in there for all that time since it was packaged, and that's where the taste is. So your decision there, you can do however you normally put kidney beans, but there we go. I've added the beans, and I can smell the habanero pepper. So I know that taste is there. I put very little salt when I first started it, when I cooked the beef. Other than that, there is no other spice in it except the garlic. So there. I won't put the mushrooms now. I'm going to wait a little bit. But what I will do now is just basically leave it here. But before I finish the step, please do this at home too. Taste it. I can get a little bite when I swallow it, which is perfect, but I can taste the celery, the beans, everything else is still in its own. Now what we're going to do is cook it so they all come together as one flavor. And then we'll put the mushrooms in. I don't like them too slimy and soft, so I'm just going to wait a little bit, Bring this to a good boil, put the lid on it, and forget about it for at least a couple of hours. Right? Hello again, here we are. We're going to finish this process here. I've thrown in the mushrooms. They all look lovely. Everything is amalgamated really nicely. But as we were discussing before, you can see it's quite watery because mine were fresh tomatoes. So what I've done here to show you, if you do use fresh tomatoes, then just get a couple of teaspoons of paste. Wow, that's a giant teaspoon, because it's so thick, right? So about that. And just mix it all in. It'll just make the tomato consistency thicker, because no matter how much you cook it, that fresh tomato is different than when you use a little bit of crushed tomato or add paste to it. So that's good. We're going to leave this like that. And then just to show you, this was the sugar. So I'm going to throw that in now. And any kind of vinegar is good, but about the same amount as the sugar. There we are, and add that. And your chili is basically ready, waiting for those nice cheese cones from Emma. So I'm going to give it one good stir. You can see all the flavors have come together, the color has come together, everything is softened up nicely. It feels like unified. The only thing that's still a little bit white and fluffy, and I like that, is the mushrooms. But if you prefer your mushrooms to be more soft like the rest of the stuff, then you just add them in with the pepper. That's not a problem. You always adjust any recipe in that manner so you know how you want it. And I'm not sure how well you see that, but it's lovely. There, nice, all mixed in, perfect. I'm going to turn this off now, let it sit in its own heat. And then in the evening when we are ready, I like to bring chili to a nice boil again before I serve it, rather than warming it up in the microwave. I think we've all had that experience where it doesn't quite heat all the way through. So that's our chili done. Please like and subscribe Ammijaan's videos, and if you like this one, come back again. We'll think of something else to make. We always have something new for you. And have a good day. Come see us again. Bye.